Yeah,
Uh,
so I've watched this and like this match. I mean, I'll just give you the way it felt. Like one, it felt like everybody was all over. I felt my tank was way too aggressive for the most part.
yeah.
But I also don't think I was in the right position, and I missed. So I'll switch to Baptiste in a minute,
Mm.
and I miss some in here.
Gotcha.
So I wasn't playing my best. So I have no. This is I lost this match, so this is why I chose it.
Yeah.
And plus the way it just felt weird. Felt like I was trying to heal
Yeah.
people, do
Uh,
very low healing.
okay. I mean, with Kiriko and Bap especially, you shouldn't be purely focused on heals, even if people are going to complain about it. I mean, you said this is a gold 5 match, right? People are going to complain. Even if you only heal them, they're still going to complain about
Yeah,
heals.
yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. I was sitting there throwing heals out, and the
Yeah.
moment and somebody says, "Bap, we need you healing." Like, dude, I've
Yeah.
been healing. Like, so I get that part of it. It's just I just
Yeah.
think like for me personally, when I went back and watched this, I very very key things that I should with Bap. Yeah,
Well,
just like wasn't accurate enough.
because I will say I watched one of your kind of self VOD reviews, and I noticed you were looking at a lot of micro
Yeah.
when, and a lot of the VODs I kind of saw on YouTube and stuff that you had, it looked like there was some macro that was kind of missing more than
Okay.
micro. You were focused on the micro. You were like, oh, I missed heal, heal 15 here. And it's like, well, you hit heal 1 through 14. That wasn't really the big problem here.
Okay.
And it's so you want to first, especially because you said you're gold 5. A lot of time when you're lower in rank, it's not because, you missed heal 15, it's because you were walking somewhere or just being somewhere that you maybe shouldn't have, or
Yeah.
maybe, like, healing when you should damage or
Yeah.
something.
This right here. So what's about to happen in this match right here? We're about to come up, and we're going to hold, and then my whole team goes to the window area right up front here. They're
Yeah.
going to go here and push. Then I'm going to flank over here to the left to take a bit of an off angle, and then all of a sudden they just Junkrat throws some stuff and kills like three.
So, yeah, stuff like that'll happen. I mean, the thing is you can't win every fight, even the best
Right.
players lose fights in games, so sometimes it really is out of your control. But I'm curious, I feel like, for me personally, it obviously it depends on what's going on, but a lot of the time, when I see people off angling, it's over on this right side here. Because you get just such an open view if
It's a
they're
better
backing up
view.
or if they're not in
Mm-hmm.
yet. Over here on the left, like,
It's
unless you're really far out here, in which case they can kinda see you pretty easy, all you're seeing really is main, but if you're over on the right here, you can see anyone on the outside, you can see anyone in there, and then if you ever need to, in 2 seconds, you can look back, kinda add point.
weird
So
is
it's
when I'm on DPS side.
yeah,
So,
it's
I mean, like this whole time I'm healing, but Mori is doing a great, damn good job healing.
yeah, especially right here. I mean, you notice, like you said, your Moira was covering all the heals, and you're playing, like, really far back for Kiriko. I
Yeah,
mean, you could,
I
right?
didn't like where I was at.
Yeah, so this to be fair, this is very weird. Like, the fights normally don't work out like this in any other ELO, so this is something you gotta adapt to here. But what I'm noticing here is, your tank and everyone was full health. Like there's not really a reason to throw out heals when they're full health or like even 90% health, right? When a tank is 400 instead of 500 health, it's not like he's any more dead or alive than before.
Right.
Uh, Instead, what you could have been doing is just, maybe walked up a bit with your tank and thrown some kunais down main or something. I mean, chances are you would have hit nothing, but you could have also hit something. Maybe you headshot a Reaper or something, and that could have been big value. But instead, you're just kind of sitting here healing people that are full health.
I normally do that, but the reason why I was staying back is I have a I don't know
Yeah,
why. It's like every time I walk right into the oh, I'm gonna make this angle, and the moment I do, I'm getting tagged by
yeah,
a
that
rat.
is that is something you have to be cautious of. I mean, you can a lot of time with Junkrat, you can kind of see where he's shooting at, and that's something you just kind of have to
Yeah,
pay attention to.
I think to your
Right?
point, if I would have swung out right here, it would have been better.
Yeah.
If I would have just moved right
Yeah.
up,
I mean, yeah, you're already, like, right you're centimeters away from being
yeah.
on the right here. you can still see your tank is in ram form, Moira is still right next to them, like, the heals are good. Obviously, someone on your team, one of the supports has to keep people up,
Right.
but we most times, the heals are so high, especially right now, that realistically, most of the time, only one support ever has to be healing at any given time. The other one should be trying to focus kinda utility, right? Either damage, anti-nade, what have you. Yeah, like, kinda same thing here, right? You'll
Yeah.
notice
Well,
a
yeah.
lot of just downtime. Alright.
I noticed that too when I went over there, and honestly, I shouldn't have. Because my thought was I needed to heal the Moria, but looking
Yeah.
back now, Moria was gonna it got out of line of sight and was gonna reach you. Got to stay to the right. Yeah.
There's that, and then there's also, if you really thought you had to heal more, you can always, instead of taking this long, stroll over
Yeah.
from right to left, you can just teleport. I mean, it's a pretty short cooldown.
Yeah. True.
Right, teleporting into your whole team that's all completely alive and full health right now wouldn't really be that bad. As for how your tank just died, I completely missed that. I don't even know where that guy was.
This is where they just all get taken out by junk. I go over
Yeah.
here, we get the
Oh,
sim,
I see that.
think boom,
Yeah.
boom, and then boom. Just that
Yeah,
quick. I mean,
and
I wasn't healing
yeah.
that though.
Right, yeah, there's from this position, there's nothing you could have done, but,
Yeah,
thinking back a few seconds ago, if
yeah,
you were still over here, I don't know if Chunk would have went for that play. I mean, he might have actually just went in on you, in which case you could have just teleported away, and then he would be kind of exposed to your team. But
true.
because you just kinda walked away from here and your whole team walked over here, there's
So,
no one here, so
yeah, so I
Junkrat can
gave
do
up
whatever he
I just
wants.
gave up this.
Right. I mean, to be fair, this was mainly still your team getting up the space, but if you wanna climb on ladder, you just a lot of time you have to make these plays, even if your team is making the wrong play. And with Kiriko, you can afford to do it. I mean, you have a small hitbox, you got teleport, you got Suzu, you can get out of jail for free anytime.
Normally with Jericho, I do try to take those off angles. This map, I just it was
Yeah.
weird, and I don't know. I felt out of sorts anyway. But yeah, that's definitely good advice on going to the right. Take that in.
Well, it's especially with Kiriko, like, 'cause at least with BAP or something, I can kinda understand it, right? With BAP, if you're alone on that right side, you don't actually really have the mobility to get out, and if your whole team is playing on the far left like that, you kinda have to rotate with them, even if it's the wrong thing to do, right? But with Kiriko, you have teleport, you have Suzu, you have a small hitbox, you have wall climb, you can get out of any situation, and Kiriko can play some of the most risky off angles in the game because of that. So you wanna kinda take advantage of that part of your character when you are in that character. That makes sense.
100%.
I know your sim just died because you shot Reaper, but that was still the right thing to do.
And I
I
looked at that and I said I probably could have healed her, but
Yeah,
with him and Reaper on her,
yeah. Obviously, you could've, probably done some more micro and maybe been shoot healing a little
uh,
bit more and min-max that, but realistically, for your skill level, this was, like, a really good thing to do. You don't always wanna prioritize damage, but especially when it's like that, where it's like, I can heal them and they'll die 1 second later, or I can kill someone and then theoretically heal them afterward. Always take option 2 there. It's
and
always more worth
I
it.
could have thrown a lamp too, but I didn't.
That too, that would have been probably worth doing. I mean, Lamp is a long cooldown, but you also are a long way away from a fight right now.
Right, and that's why I probably could have. So I mean, that's the other
Yeah,
thing I thought I could have done on a lamp. So, but
yeah.
that makes
I
it.
didn't. Yeah. This is actually. And I know you just talked about at the start. Oh, you were looking too much micro or whatever. But right here, when you walked up to try and save your DM or whatever, that was that. Like obviously in gold, you're probably not going to get punished for it.
Oh, bit
But
in
there is very little reason to put yourself at risk like that. Like you were the only one here with your
right.
dim, and by walking out here in the open, you could have got hidden, like you said, your Junkrat magnet. Junkrat could have been spamming main right then, and they could have thrown this. If this rock was thrown a second earlier,
It got
like you would have just died. Uh,
so basically, junk or the Doomfist just needs to get out sooner. I can get him.
Oh, like when you were shooting from back here and
Yeah,
whatever, you were completely fine. And even when you were throwing heals from all the way back at this corner, even though you
yeah,
took a Junkrat hit here, you could still, from where you are right now, you can pretty easily heal
he'll
Doom
heal.
by shooting that. You just didn't have to walk up at all. It wasn't, obviously Doom is probably shouldn't be there 1v5 right now, but yeah, the whole point of VOD is don't look at him, look at
Look at
you. What
me.
could
Yeah,
you have done
exactly.
to make up for him? Because you're gonna have bad teammates every game.
Right, and that's why I try not to focus. I mean, like this is
Yeah,
what made me get into some positions sometimes,
yeah.
and this is what I need to do better is because I'm trying to be reactive to what they're doing. But if I'm at where I need to be in safe, then as long as I can try to see them, then if they die, I did what I without
Well,
dying.
the thing with support a lot of the time, and the thing I've noticed with a lot more low ranked players is a lot of support players will kind of go, above and beyond to try and save their teammates, right? Like there'll be like a mercy who like goes dead center of the enemy team to get a res or something, and it's like, obviously it feels great when you're the guy getting res or whatever, but it's just unnecessary risk. Sometimes your teammates are gonna mess up to a degree that you shouldn't save them. Even though you maybe could at the expense of your own life, a lot of time being alive on support is well worth, you know, just letting them die.
True.
Or just maybe, the more they die in bad position, either one of two things happens. Either A, they just keep dying in bad positions, or B, they're like, "Well, I'm not getting healed. Let me start trying to play more where the support's looking." In which case, if you're playing the game right, then he'll see where you're looking and he'll start playing the game right. It kind of is a kind of chain effect right there. But by just catering to however they're playing, you're gonna kind of reinforce those bad habits that they built up in
And
bronze
then
or
get
gold or
yourself into
whatever.
bed too.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of the thing. But you can also see, I mean, he was at like 75% health too.
Yeah.
It's not
So
like he was
yeah,
gonna die either. Maybe if he was like 50 health or something, and you think you'd need him up for this next fight right away, and not that he should maybe just die and wait for your team again. Then I could kind of see it, but he was like full health, and you just
full
kind of
health.
walked out mid.
Yeah. So definitely a bad decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got lucky.
I don't hate this play so far.
It gets bad. It turns for the worse because we get this.
Okay.
They throw ults. Really, it's the reason why it gets bad because we have a
Yeah.
Junkrat tire, Fury ult, and then coalescence. So
So something I did notice here is you had when this Bastion was just dying here. Obviously,
hmm,
you were healing him and all, and that's great because realistically, when they have Cole and 50 other things up, you're not going to kill anything. But you did kind of let him die by just not using your left shift. Like you
yeah,
just held that this whole
I
time.
think I had used. Did I not?
No, you've
Oh,
you've
okay.
held
So
this, you've
yeah,
held this for a long
yeah.
time.
Okay. So I missed that. I missed that when I watched it because I
You-
miss. In actuality, I miss a heal too. So I should have left shift here.
It's like missing right clicks is whatever. It'll
Yeah.
happen. The best ever. No one has 100% accuracy, right? You will miss shots. That's not something to focus on though, because that will fix itself as you play the game. Because naturally, when you're playing a game, you're like, I want to hit my shots, and the more you miss
Yeah.
shots, the more you start correcting for it, and 100 games later, you'll start hitting everything.
I
But
missed
right
it.
here, especially when you were low, at some
But
point you were
yeah.
like 50 health while getting
Right. Because
cold.
right
Just
here would have
left
been
you.
perfect time.
Even it actually would have been better even like a second ago. You could look at your health bar right here. You're at 105. You're down to
Boom.
80. That's pretty bad. You're down to 46, and your bastion's also critical. If you left shift right here, you get
Right.
100. Bastion gets 100,
100, and then we probably change.
and then you might live. I don't think you change this around to be
Yeah.
honest. They have way too many ults running, but you would have lived a little bit longer. Maybe got some more ult charge out of it or something.
And plus, he was in
Yeah,
he was in turret form, which he could have
yeah,
melted
you could
some
have maybe
items.
done
So
something.
yeah, very true. And then this is just a bad play right here. I too far away, backed up. So my
Yeah,
left shift was just bad.
and then here,
I just
yeah,
died.
like
But, yeah,
like there instead of backing up and like trying to run there, I would have just walked in and
and
died
died
faster.
faster. Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
not like that really matters, but
no, good point though. I mean, yeah. I mean, I knew I was dead, so I just kind of just
yeah,
stopped right there. You
yeah,
notice? I was like,
it's if it was like 99, maybe you could try to start clutching or something, but you have a whole other fight left over. Like you got time, you can just die with your team. But yeah, that was yeah, obviously not the best play in the world.
No, it was bad. That whole
Yeah.
part just got bad. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I made a
But
lot.
I didn't hate a lot of what happened there though. Like pushing out the right side, definitely not something you should do every game, but I think in this game it made some level of sense. It was a pretty good flank play. Bastion came with you. You guys were up there together. I think if they didn't pop 5 ults that exact fight, you probably would have
Might
had
have
a pretty
been.
good flank on your hands. Right. And then at the later part when Sig Shield was blocking your heals and stuff, I mean, realistically, all you could have done there is like high jumped over it or something and tried to heal that way. But it was you were just kind of out of position at that point because your team was all over the place. But that's
And
not really something I think you could have
yeah,
corrected for.
this is we don't make it.
Yeah.
I think at this
Oh
point I'm
yeah,
like, we're not. No, that's what it was. There was a Reaper. That Reaper was looking for ult,
yeah, no,
and and
I saw you when he
yeah,
was up on the left. You were
yeah,
you were kind of pointing your aim toward him because you heard the footsteps.
yeah. Because I heard
Uh,
him and I knew what he was doing. I knew he was
a
looking
lot
for
of time,
ult.
even if he's doing stuff like that, just have your finger ready on the immort because you have to go touch point.
Yeah, it's true.
Like instead of just when we go back just a few seconds, a lot of your team was just critical around the corner. You like kind of backed away from them
Yeah,
because you heard the steps. You have immort on BAP. You can even if he ults, you'll be safe for a little bit,
yeah. Just
and you
throw
can also
the
left
just try to
shift.
throw the lamp.
Like, when it's 90% like this, that's when you do that. Obviously, if this is, like, 50% and you have time, you can,
Then do
maybe point
that.
this out to your team and then maybe, like, look for a bit more, but when it's the last fight and you have to touch now, you kinda just have to force point with your team. I mean, it's a shitty situation to be in. Obviously, it's not optimal, but yeah. And then at this point, it's like, yeah, your whole team's dead. Your
Yeah,
game doesn't really
now I'm
have
just
either.
messing around. I'm not getting out there.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
die if I get around the corner. So I just was at that point. I knew it was over. Because
Yeah.
in bad play, I guess try to go ahead and try to survive it. But at this point, I don't. I mean, I don't want to say it was all me, but like I said, I showed you that screenshot of
Yeah,
or
you did send a screenshot of stats earlier. I didn't look at it
I
too
have all the
hard, but
stats, but I mean
it's yeah.
that Bastion killed nobody.
Yeah,
I mean,
looking round one, I mean, I guess I could pull this up on my screen
yeah,
and
but
maybe post at it.
yeah,
But you can
but
see he had no elims, but that your whole team had 2 elims. Like,
two
the
limbs,
3 people
right?
died that
We were
round.
not. The other team was just outplaying.
Yeah.
So nobody's fault really.
Like, there's times where people be 0 and 5 and some will be
Mhm.
2 and 5, and the guy who's 2 and 5 is actually playing worse.
Worse,
It's
you're
just the
right,
guy
and
0 and 5 is getting focused
just
more
getting
or something.
focused more, and that could have been what was happening. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, my heals, I could have healed him better as well. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's why
take
you don't look at the stats too
yeah,
much. But what I do notice that the when you look at the screenshot you sent of the first round is 0 damage mitigated on BAP. You do just have to sometimes use that immort.
yeah,
Right, that's
just to use it.
just to it's not even just to use it, but there's always some scenario. I guess I didn't point any of them out, but there's always a scenario where you can kind of save someone without putting yourself at risk. Obviously, you want to hold it for yourself when you're at risk,
Mhm.
but even a lot of the time when you were at risk, you didn't really use it to save yourself or anything.
Usually try to throw it, but
Yeah, the strongest part about Baptiste, obviously his heals and damage on his main gun are really strong, but the strongest part about most supports like Baptiste and Ana are actually their abilities above their just primary fire. Like that
right.
left shift and that immort field are so much stronger. If you do only those 2 things and maybe like right click to heal, even though it's obviously bad to not do damage on BAP, I think you'd be getting a lot more value.
More value. Yeah, I'll make sure. I'm usually pretty on point with my lamps and stuff, but
Yeah, the lamps weren't awful.
yeah,
I remember seeing 1 or 2 of them being like, "Well, I was you did what you could there." Just yeah, when they have like coal and tire, you can't save your team from both of them.
yeah, it's good luck. And I probably threw that one a little bit early, to be honest. I think if I go back and look at that, so
Maybe, but that's like what I'm saying. That's that micro where you don't want to think about
hmm
that. You want to think
yeah,
more, yeah, where am I positioning myself?
right.
Where am I kind of setting up my team for? Because as the support, like it might not seem like it, but the common thing a lot of high rank players refer to support as is the puppet master. Like your positioning and maybe even comms if you use voice comms
Hmm.
is going to set up your whole team like for the rest of the game. Even if your tank wants to do this and that, if you play these certain positions like this high ground or whatever, it'll force the tank to play the way you want them to.
Okay.
And you need to then be more on point with how you're positioning and stuff to make sure your team is then also playing more correct.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense. Then I'm just throwing heals. I need to stop doing
Yeah,
that,
I know.
but I just feel like I got to do something sometimes.
That's fair. But also
Yeah.
another thing I'm noticing, all your heals, you're like just splash on the ground. There's no
Mm-hmm.
benefit for hitting like directs,
Direct,
really.
so get more to
I
the
think
ground
I
on
think
those.
there is some. I think it's like 10 heals or
10 heals, but
something. But
not enough
it's
to
it's
worry
not
about it.
enough to hard focus on it like the way
Okay.
you are. It's because you've now missed about 3 or 4
Yeah.
heals this round that you would have easily hit by just
Yeah.
splashing on the
Just
ground.
splash. Okay. I need to concentrate on that more.
Right, you kind of forced out your own left shift there because you were trying to hit the sim
Right.
directly.
Right.
Versus here, you can see you're just aiming around the queen and she's back
Yeah.
on full health like right away.
Yeah. I normally try to aim at the ground more, but I do notice on that one I might have tried to for whatever reason.
But yeah, so right here there's a lot of just time where you're just healing someone who's like completely full health. I mean, look at this position right here.
I could.
Like
Yeah. I
what
should.
what do you see here?
I should be blasting that. I think it's whatever that dude is right there.
This whole cluster. This
Yeah.
isn't even one person. There's 5
Right.
people.
I could
Yeah, you
just
don't even it
shot
doesn't even
in.
matter
Yeah,
which one you
I could
shoot.
have
You
just
could just
shot in
shoot the
there.
crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
could
would
have
have forced
just.
out some more heals from them. Your Moira, you could see going on a flank. So if you shoot them here, they might not even realize the Moira's on that flank. I mean, your
Right.
DPS are over here doing their own thing, but one of them's a soldier, the other one's sim. They can find a way out of that, and then you just healed your tank, so you know he's fine.
Right. I
So
could
at
have
this point,
like.
yeah, do what you have to. Do you have your immort ready? Because you could see both your DPS here. You could see they were missing some health, or they're both around
Hmm.
half. So you could have an immort ready for them just in case. But this is a situation where you have an opportunity just to throw out some free damage and maybe even
Yeah.
get a
It would
kill or
have been
two.
easy damage right there.
You can right here, you just heal, heal,
Yeah. Shoot.
heal.
Yeah.
Even threw a heal
Oh,
into Sigma's left shift.
I'll tell you why I did this, and
Mhm.
I did this because in this very point is when the dude called me out for not healing. So I was being an ass. I was
Okay.
being an
Yeah,
ass.
yeah.
He was like, "Crap, we need your healing." So I was being an ass. So sorry that.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, look, it gets to everyone at some point. You just have to allow time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You need to. A lot of Overwatch is mental game above
Hmm.
mechanics. Like
Yeah,
the difference between, as far as I'm concerned, difference between a Masters player and a GM player is not that the GM player is better. It's that they don't get as like tilted. Like they just play the game. Someone would say like, "Oh, you're doing an awful job on like Baptiste," and then they'll
yeah.
just keep playing the game the exact same
Oh
way.
yeah, yeah.
And the Masters player will do what you're doing right here and just start healing only or
Yeah.
something, right? And then
And
maybe
I,
even
I was
get
just
some
like, dude,
kills.
that's what I was doing the whole time up here, But
Yeah,
and
yeah.
probably they're probably just not timed right, really, to be honest. Lamp,
I would have considered, yeah, lamp either
yeah,
for yourself or for your queen here.
yeah,
I would have probably thrown it on my queen, and then instead
yeah,
of like focusing on healing, I would have
yeah,
jumped high ground here. I mean, it's really safe right now.
yeah. I should
Instead, you're
have,
you're you're
yeah,
walking out more into the open area, and you can see their tanks about to just walk in on
yeah.
you.
I was gonna ask about this because I didn't know if I should have rotated. Yeah, I didn't even think about the high ground, so that's a very good point.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
didn't know if before, because before should I have gotten more to the right, if that would have been a better, because I do get out of position here. Because
So like
should,
you're saying like here, should you have started moving right and already, or
yeah, should I moved more further to the right instead of staying here? Because I'm going to get caught out
so?
of position here. Is what happens.
I think here is the whole enemy team's right
Yeah,
here. You know they're all in front of you. You also know you're Baptiste. You have that crouch, and if
yeah,
you crouch for
jump,
like a
yeah.
second, you can jump up here. High ground is always something you want to be aware of, no matter what role or what you're doing, because high ground is the strongest point on
Hmm.
any map.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
So the better
And
play here would
I
have been to
I
get
in
up there
this
with this
case,
soldier.
this is a good place to be because you have sights on point. You have sights on this little flank for your teammates. You could heal them up and stuff. And if they do push you, you can just go high ground to escape. And you actually, I wouldn't have known this. I didn't ever see this guy go up here, but your soldier was up here, so you could have
Yeah,
even been
yeah.
with
You're
him.
not going to healed him and
Right?
been
It
up there.
would have been even
Yeah,
better. But you can see the whole enemy
yeah.
team there, so you know it's
Because to
safe.
that point, because if I would have been up there, the
Yeah.
the 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 Junker Queen's
Like
gonna run back. If
like,
I was
yeah.
up, I would have had a line of sight on her way
Like
better.
right here, you're 40 health. So
Yeah,
when I'm 40 health, instead of thinking, oh shit, my tank's critical, I think, oh shit, if someone looks my way in 2 seconds, I'm dead. What do I
yeah,
need to do to keep myself alive? And for me, the answer is just I'm the jumpy character. I can jump,
yeah.
right?
Okay,
The other option is immort yourself. I wouldn't say that's the best play, but it's better than just kind of sitting here. And then, or maybe even immort the tank as you jump is the best play, in my opinion. That's what I would have done in this situation.
okay.
Right, because then you keep your tank alive, you keep yourself alive, you get into an even better position. You possibly even let your tank kind of get a free kill, maybe like push the advantage in your favor. Because I don't think has anyone on your team died yet. I don't think anyone's even died this fight yet.
Not on these fights yet. Okay.
Right, but instead you pick the third option. You
And
don't throw
go
immort.
right,
You walk out more in the open while on low health,
right.
and yeah, this is just risky.
Bonehead move really, and then a late lamp,
Yeah.
and I get
Yeah.
rocked by
So
Sig.
the lamp was like super late. I mean, luckily your tank survived because this is gold, so I guess the Reaper's missing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you just put yourself in a really like
Bad
this was
spot.
all you.
Yeah.
You could blame your tank for backing
Oh
up or
no
whatever,
no
but
no
this
no no!
was
I didn't blame my
yeah
tank for that. I blame my
yeah
positioning.
yeah.
I just didn't know if I should have because I thought I should have moved more to the right to be more behind my tank
I
at that
yeah.
point.
Generally, when you're in like here, the
Mm-hmm.
options are back out this way to safety, jump up to high ground if it's safe. The important part is of why I said going high ground here is the play, is because you saw all five of them
Right,
on point, so you
right.
know no one's up here.
So I'd
Or
have
is
been good to
even if you
go.
looked up here ahead of time, you would have seen, oh, my soldier's on high ground. It's probably safe for me to join him. But
Right.
if you didn't see him up there, if you didn't see all five of them, going high ground is honestly a bit of a risk. I would have just started backing away toward this
This
area because
area.
this area
Okay.
is really safe.
So,
Even maybe toward Mega, so you just grab Mega. But and then just toss out Immor for your tank as you're leaving because you don't just want to leave him to
oh
die.
right,
You
right.
save him. But you instead you walked first, then through Immort, and also you walked somewhere
Right. If I would
extremely
have,
even
I mean, even if I would have, should
open.
have, even if I would have stayed here, the smarter play would have been to just stay right there where you were just at, basically, and
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah. Staying back
hopefully,
here would have been
yeah,
better. I hope they just
yeah.
forget you exist and then
Throw
you
the
go back.
lamp back up, throw the lamp
Yeah.
back up, and let.
The first thought should have been though, when you saw I'm critical and
Mm-hmm.
my tank's critical, first thought in your head is throw the lamp. Second thought is keep myself up. And you can either combine that into throw the lamp at myself to keep myself up, or throw the lamp at my tank and then find a way to get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
And you kind of did both of those in the inverted order and really late. And
Really
then
late. Yeah,
this area is just bad in general. I mean, this is just a super open position to a lot of places, and it doesn't really give you more value. Like, what do you see here that you didn't see over here?
right.
Like, you actually you see less here than you saw back here, and you're just more visible here. Like, this is maybe if Widow wants to, like, main or something, but even then, this is not the place for it to be.
Yeah. I
This
mean,
this is an okay place. See a lot of people here. Obviously, a lot of people play around this pillar, but a lot of people do just stay high ground.
yeah.
I mean, these corners here and here are really strong because you can back up super easy just by walking back a little, and then obviously you have sights on everything pretty easily as well. But yeah, that's I feel like that one's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah,
Glad
I
you
mean,
can understand
oh
that.
yeah, that one was on me. I have no beefs on that one. Just where I was at was
Yeah,
bad when I went and looked at that. Um,
gotcha. Yeah, you might as well throw these out.
I was trying
If you
to.
thought they were in danger, you could have even probably thrown Immort because you know your tank's not going to be
Oh,
there until
yeah, I
after
knew they
you.
weren't in danger up there because they had moved back and the tank
Yeah,
had moved off. So
yeah. But same thing here. Aim these heals just lower. You
a
can
little
hit the
bit lower.
ground.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that was bad. Do you like what do you think was bad about the last like 3 4 seconds? If
Three
you had to
four. I'd have to go back and look again.
sure. Replay it. Oh, hold up, I did not go back at all. I'll
So
pause it when I
yeah,
was yeah.
threw a couple shots, a heal, and I should have taken the thing up with the everybody else. That was why it was bad. I got left behind.
So, I mean, that's an option, but
Yeah.
that's not what I noticed. I obviously you could have done that. Probably would have been a good idea, especially your whole team is up there right now. Probably would have been good to be with them. but even with that, you still would have been fine. Obviously, you jumped up here and you still ended up being fine. What I noticed though is when this Reaper pushed you, you
Hmm.
have 2 cooldowns available. 1 millisecond later, you have 0 cooldowns available. Right? You don't need both
Oh,
of them
okay.
to
So I
work.
used them too fast.
You need one or the other here. Immorts would have kept you alive. Even if you're on 10 health here, Immort keeps you alive on 10 health. And then you would have had it for 3 seconds later. If Reaper decided to keep pushing you, you would have had your left shift still
That makes
available,
sense.
or
Yeah.
vice versa, right? You could have left shifted, you'd be at 132 health here, you could take another 2 shots, then you could throw Immort. Instead, you left shifted and threw Immort both in panic
Panicked.
and
Yeah.
wasted both of your cooldowns. You can see the cooldown on them is crazy. What,
Yeah. What?
15
15 and
seconds and
20.
23 seconds.
Yeah.
You
23.
basically can't use that until next fight now.
Right.
And you just tossed him out the millisecond this guy came at you. And then you also backed out of Immort
Yeah.
and you basically lost the value. You threw both abilities, only got value one of them, and then did what I would have done. I would have left shifted and then jumped up here to safety,
Okay.
or maybe immorted and jumped up here to safety, one or the other. And you had the right idea to come up here to safety. It's kind of the same point as before, right? High ground is good.
Hmm.
It's nice and safe. It's a advantage position. But you just used 2 cooldowns to get here when you really easily could have just
Just
used
used
one.
one. Okay. Yeah. That's it.
Might not come into play here, but it theoretically could have,
It could have. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right here, good to do damage, good left shift. This was a good mix of heals and damage here. Yeah, I mean the rest of the fight was good though. You shot at the right time, you healed at the right time. That was like perfect.
If I can get more consistent with that, I think I would do a lot better on BAP. So.
Yeah. Well, the hardest part in BAP is getting used to his burst shots
Hmm.
because a lot of time with BAP, the difference between like a GM BAP and like everyone else is the GM BAP hits all 3 shots and everyone else hits the first one
First
and
one.
maybe the third.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
really hard to hit those burst shots. But yeah, over here, I mean, I would have
Yeah.
before I just started aimlessly walking
Yeah.
around. You got to look at what your team's doing, right? So from
Well,
up
yeah.
here with outlines, you'd see my tank's over here, my
Yeah.
sim's over here, my other support is not with them, right?
I should have been.
And
I should have just hung out with them
someone
over there.
someone has to be there. They maybe shouldn't be up there theoretically. I don't even actually know if it's bad or good to be there right
Yeah.
now.
I
But point
mean, yeah.
being, you see Moira back here. Well, you don't see Moira back here, but you don't see Moira up here, and you see Tank up here. Instead of just walking around up here, maybe
Yeah.
seeing, oh, do they come main? Can I shoot him here? You should be paying attention because you're in gold, right? If you're in GM
Yeah.
or something, you probably aimlessly walk like this because someone else will cover for you, or they'll realize that you're not with them. But in gold, you need to be like climb a ladder. You need to be the initiator. You need to be the one
Yeah.
thinking harder than your teammates, playing harder than your teammates, playing better. And you
Yeah.
should have realized here, my Moira is not with the team like she maybe should be. I need to now go with the team to make sure they stay up.
Okay.
And he did eventually realize that. I mean, you walked over and got some nice heals in. But even here, it's like even looking main here, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. True.
All right, just go with your team at this point. You back? Okay,
Our
this is
team ends up
interesting.
coming back over, I believe. So
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
the support generally, you want to stay behind your team, stay in
Yeah.
safety.
So I
You
should
can
have.
heal them. You can
So I
do
should
the
have been
same
hanging back
damage.
here. That makes
I would
sense.
have instead of dropping, you could have just stayed behind your team up
Yeah.
here. Yeah, play with the team, kind of see what they're doing, all the while still taking these same
Taking it.
shots,
Yeah. Saying
maybe
I
killing
still
yourself.
had shots on what I was
Yeah,
shooting anyway.
yeah, that just seems like an early window. I mean,
Yeah. I thought there were more coming, to be honest with you.
yeah,
And
but
so
even if that's the case, the
yeah.
second they pop window, they were like here.
Yeah. I should have waited
Even
till
if
they
there was
got
5
came
of
in some
them,
more.
all 5 of them would have just walked here and then been safe.
Yeah. So I
You need
should
to
have
wait for them
waited.
to want them to be on point, maybe like halfway through or something, because then they can't escape, right? They're kind of
Yeah.
stuck.
That makes sense.
But instead, you just kind of threw it up. I mean, obviously, it's gonna get them off a point, and your team will fine for a bit. But that's not big. That window can kill 5 like
Right.
almost
Real.
every
Real
time.
easy. Yeah.
You just have to use it when they're in, or when your team walks in. Anyway, you could see also right here, you had Immort, you saw
Yeah.
Reaper ulting, you didn't throw Immort.
True.
Like your
Yeah.
team lived, but
Luckily,
it
be honest.
like obviously shooting here with window up is definitely worth doing over healing. You clearly are the reason this Reaper died, but Immort takes like a millisecond to
Second to
throw out.
throw. But
You know,
if it had been there, then
yeah,
no, I
it
would
would have
have
been
been
it's
less.
extra secured. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it was. I think it's worth doing. Is my point, right? The shots were
Yeah.
good. Thinking to shoot Reaper here instead of heal your team with window, really smart play there. Not throwing Immort halfway through to make sure they stayed up, maybe not as intelligent. I mean, you weren't
Right.
punished for it, but
But
you could
luckily,
have been. Right.
really, because
That was a luckily.
if I'd
Yeah.
have missed some shots, or and the Junker Queen would have missed some shots, because Junker Queen and I
Uh,
both took out, and it would have been over. So
yeah.
they would have cleared us out. So, but
Well, it was
immortality.
also like, if their Sigma maybe did more damage or
Hmm.
something, maybe stunned your Junker Queen, or maybe let's say there was another person around the corner you hadn't seen yet, and they were also shooting Junker Queen. Immort would have saved them from the Reaper ult and whatever that might have been. It was really big value here.
Yeah, and that's one of my big things that I know I need to work on is cooldown usage. So I know
Yeah,
that's a very big weakness of mine. So.
that is one of the most important things. Like Overwatch is decided by cooldown usage. If you use your cooldowns properly, even if your positioning's awful, even if you miss every single shot, you can easily. I think someone who just knows when to use their cooldowns will probably be diamond, just
Hmm.
straight up.
Yeah.
And then if you hit your shots, then you go up to masters. If you do something else, then it goes even further. And it's pretty simple.
Yeah. I mean, and the good thing, I'm trying stuff sometimes and making mistakes, and then obviously you go back and learn from them. But getting somebody else's perspective, because you can only have one
Yeah,
perspective, really. Like from my knowledge base only knows so much, right? What to do,
yeah.
what
There's
to
only so
gain.
much to know.
Yeah.
It's nice to definitely get a second opinion. Yeah.
And Armora, and I don't. They're just pushing back here. I guess to hold them for a minute, so I moved up.
Yeah, a lot of time people just do this stuff for fun. When I do stuff like this, it's I'm looking to get a stagger kill or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this wasn't bad to
Yeah.
walk up. Yeah,
Yeah.
you and right here, this was a good thing, right? You're not doing what you did before when they were on Doom. You didn't like walk up to try and heal them. You're backing up while still shooting them
Hmm.
from safety. This is how you want to be healing people when they're doing stupid stuff.
Right.
You want to not risk your own life because they're doing something stupid.
Right. But I knew this was a
And
dumb play, so.
yeah, here you missed like 4 heals, not because aim or whatever, because you're aiming at them.
Right.
I would miss shots. If I tried to direct them here, I'd be missing these shots.
Right.
That's why you just aim at the floor. Take
Right.
these simple heals, take the easy heals. The difference is super minor, and even hitting the floor, a lot of the time it can still direct them. Right? There's no downside really to doing it.
Okay.
It's not like you can headshot to heal someone. The immort was necessary because of that fact. So now you're
Yes.
down another 22-second
It could
cooldown.
cool down
Did
because
you
of
just
that.
left shift?
I did on
That
her. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
yeah,
Bad.
that's just another one where it's like, what is that doing for you?
Right.
Yeah, right here, another situation. Jump high ground. Like Tire's gonna kill you either way. Walking into this wall isn't gonna
Well, I thought he was
save
going to
you from
throw
that.
it in the middle there, and I knew
Yeah.
I screwed up on my. I mean, I didn't know how to screwed up on my cooldowns, but I knew I
Yeah,
didn't
but
have
you knew
my
you didn't have
cooldowns.
them.
So I
Right.
was like, at least if I could get here, I could at least
Yeah, but the
get
thing is
out.
this being up here and being back here is like the same safety, but
Yeah,
being up here is
way
like Bap
better.
Bap's strongest thing is that, well, not strongest, but one of Bap's biggest strengths is that leap. And you can leap here in half a second. It took you like 2 seconds to walk back here. And
Right.
it's a
It's just better.
and
I'm just not using my jump enough.
yeah. It's to be fair, that is Bap specific, and I know you play a lot of supports that like I guess Bap and Moira as well, but Moira can do other stuff. So
Yeah.
it's mainly just Bap who does that, so it is a bit weird to
I
adjust
mainly
to.
play Kiriko, so
Yeah.
and I didn't need to
Okay.
do that. I didn't need
Yeah,
to do
well,
that.
obviously you didn't have to left shift, but
Yeah.
the main thing I noticed, like, what do you think I saw from the tired and now that I didn't play
I was just
for
hanging
this stuff?
out, man. I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And what am I
Well,
doing?
that's
Yeah.
a part of it, but
Yeah.
it's more of your tank died,
Yeah.
your other support died,
I should
they're
have.
walking for a
I
point.
should have just backed out at this
You
point.
should just left. This soldier had the right idea. He's just out of here. You could have maybe stayed back here or something to get some free damage or whatever, but you just need to start leaving or like die to the enemy.
Yeah, just
Because your whole team's dead.
reset so we don't
Right.
stagger.
Yeah, that's a big thing here. Instead, you were like, I got this. I'm gonna 1v5. I got the whole point here. And
Yeah, very bad.
if it's 90%, you got to do this, unfortunately. But
It's
it's not
it's not
90%, so
90%. Yeah,
you can just leave. And then here, yeah,
yeah,
like you said, left shift
wasted
was
that.
bad. Only use that when you're super low, or
Yeah,
if like 4 people around you really need it. Left shift is a very selfish ability. I mean, it happens to heal other people too, but it's almost never used that way
right.
unless it's
It's
absolutely necessary. It's
right.
mainly used like, oh, I'm at or under 100 health. Let me just get 100 health real quick. Here, used it at 170 and got 30 health. And that was actually a good idea to jump there. Unfortunately, you kind of messed it up somehow, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Good to shoot the soldier there, though. You almost did kill him.
Figured out I could take one out while I knew I was going out.
Yeah,
And I probably could
and
have
you
thrown
almost
it, and I
did.
probably
That
could
was
have thrown
good.
one heal on that soldier down there too, but I
You
didn't do
maybe
that.
could have, but
But
honestly, like at
just
that
wait.
point, you're dead. Just
Yeah,
get your kills in.
yeah,
Right? You definitely could have kept them up, and he probably could have even escaped with that, but it just wouldn't have been worth the time wasted.
yeah.
And your soldiers just got another pick on their soldier. This soldier on your team has been doing a really good job, like playing off angles and backing out and stuff. I will say he's above his pay grade right now. But yeah, we're back on Kiri.
This I
I
don't
mean,
understand why he does this, but
yeah, it happens.
yeah, yeah. But I
So
do it
yeah,
too. I do it too.
that's what we
So,
call that's what we call an ego play. It happens
yeah,
in every
I do
UA.
it too. I do it with Kiriko a
Yeah,
lot. Like I'm gonna go kill this guy,
yeah,
and then
yeah. And with Kirika, you can a lot of the
and
time.
on
That's the crazy part.
yeah, and on Kiriko, I throw out a lot of heals when I know I don't have to. So I'm aware of
Yeah,
that. But sometimes I just feel like I need to be doing something on Kiriko, so I just since you don't have to really
yeah,
reload their heals. I mean it just heals back
yeah.
up.
Like auto reloads.
Yeah, so
Yeah, here's similar scenario as way back when we were at the start. Like,
mm-hmm,
remember you were just kind of walking around up
yeah,
here, and like your team was over here, and your other heal was over here. Same thing right here. You were just kind of walking on point. Your whole team
mm-hmm,
was like up here on the left, and then your other support is like flanking because they're playing flanking area.
yeah.
You just don't need to be isolated like this. If you're isolated on Kiriko, you should be in an off angle, but
Angle,
you're just standing in
right?
main.
Okay.
You gotta
Just
make a choice when it
just
comes
make
to stuff
sure
like
I'm
that.
being with my team more on these.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be with your team here. You could have been doing what Moira's doing. You
Doing
could have been
flanking,
played maybe up
yeah,
here, played an off angle. You could have even walked all the way around here, started throwing some random shots because you could teleport. Like
right.
Kiriko can play the same off angles that like Soldier gets value out of because she can just teleport every single time, and that's one of her biggest strengths. But you're just kind of sitting in main, then you realize, oh shit, I'm in a bad position, and you backed up. But now you're just kind of alone again,
Well, here's where we
which
move
isn't
in.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We go. I'll get the. Oh, I got the. That was an earlier. I got the pick on the.
I forgot. Are you on controller or PC?
I'm on PC.
Okay, yeah. So with Kiriko nade, almost always just throw it at the ground. Same thing
Yeah,
as BAP.
yeah. I
There's
usually
no
try to throw
downside
it on the
to it.
ground. Yeah, because
Like
it's got
right
the
there,
splash.
you tried chucking it at Soldier and you missed,
Yeah, I
and
just didn't look
it made
down. It
it
was
kind of
awful.
awkward.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every time that is a muscle memory you want to get down on
yeah,
Kiriko and BAP. Look down, splash. Look
splash.
down,
Yeah.
splash. That's all you got to be doing. Yeah.
So we get
Like
this one.
this was
Yeah,
this was a lot better.
yeah,
Like obviously you point out a few mistakes you made, but this one was a lot better because you played safer. Like
yeah.
every time, like if we go back to the same map, every time you guys were winning fights, you were over here playing a very safe position, getting a lot of damage and heals in. You were getting a lot of better immorts in this round. You generally died faster when you should have. Obviously, there's a few times like when you're wandering up here that you're away from
Should
your
have been
team,
over
and it was just
there.
kind of
Yeah,
weird. Right, but there was a lot less of that type of mistake compared to round 1, and that's why you won. It was mainly you were playing better this round.
yeah.
You got rewarded by winning the round. Obviously, your teammates were also playing great, don't get me wrong, but a lot
Oh
of it is
yeah.
stemming from the fact that you are also playing better yourself, right? They have less to worry about. They get healed more. There's more damage to assist them. It's just better for everyone. All right, let's just keep going along. Yeah, so this is an awkward scenario where this is what I call a gold moment where your
Yeah.
tank is over here
Yeah,
and your
and
team is over
I
here.
was like, the
And
Moria's over there, so
yeah,
I was like, I did see this, and I was like, do I need to be by my tank? I don't want to
and
leave them hanging.
realistically, there is no right answer.
Right.
I'll tell you from
Yeah.
experience, there is no right
Yeah.
answer here. I think the mindset though of my Moira's here and they got my team covered, I have to probably heal this other guy because Moira's got these guys covered. At least the mindset there is good. This might even be the right choice. I'm not even gonna tell you if this is right or wrong. I don't know
Yeah,
the answer.
I don't either. I mean, on these, I mean, I just thought,
Yeah.
you know, like, uh,
Now that being said, you did just randomly throw your nade. That
yeah,
that was
I
just
should have been up higher and throw it. I was trying to, yeah,
well, even
yeah,
even just
yeah.
being up high or whatever, there's no reason to throw it. You were
Oh,
down like
just
20
none.
health,
Yeah. Well, I think I was throwing it on the Junker Queen to
trying
try
to
to
hit on the
mitigate,
tank.
try to make mitigate some damage when I should have had it for him.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, at this point, your tank is so deep that I feel like they're almost like beyond saving.
yeah,
At this point, I'd start just going for their backline. You know, maybe get the Mercy, get that Simi you're looking at, just kind of going aggro here.
more
And
aggro
then
there.
keep an eye on this tank, but they're just making stupid choices. You don't want to heal people like this and reward stupid
Okay.
choices. When
Yeah.
people are being stupid, just let them be stupid. Kitsune was sure the nade, like I was called Kitsune. It was all right.
I was just trying to get it in there because I couldn't
Yeah,
heal.
yeah.
Maybe help
No,
him
yeah, that
out.
was fair. You could have
Um,
probably teleported in, but they're like it's kind of
I,
like I was saying. There's no point. You would have just gotten your stealth
yeah,
killed for
I thought
nothing.
about it, but I was
Yeah,
like, okay, there's a Rhino over there, and I'm gonna go in a
yeah. No,
small
that's
room.
that's that's
Very
one of those
bad.
scenarios where it's like, your team fucked up, and
Yeah,
you don't need to fuck up with them.
yeah,
That was a good call. That's the type of call you want to be making. Teleporting out, also good idea right there. There's
yeah,
no reason to kind of continue that fight. Now here, when you're throwing your kunai, you obviously throw a little bit higher. I mean, you gotta always
yeah.
in Kiriko when you're spamming kunai,
Heads,
don't even think about hitting enemies. Think about hitting heads.
yeah.
And
That's what I usually try to do, but I'm also sometimes just don't get it there.
yeah, yeah, and that's fine. That'll come with time, but you just want that in your head. That's like a
Yeah,
good. Whenever I'm playing Torbjorn or Kiriko or not really Junkrat, it's one of those two. Whenever
yeah.
I'm playing one of those two heroes,
It's
my
just
thought is always, okay, I have to aim
mm,
at where the head's gonna be. I don't. A lot of time, I don't even look at my screen for where the enemy is. I aim down the main choke point and aim at head
aim at
level,
head level. Yeah, that's a
and
good.
and
That's probably a
that'll
good
just
thing.
hit things.
That's probably a good thing to do. And I did miss I threw a random Suzu right there. You might have missed it, but just
Yeah, whatever. That happens. That one's not as bad as the other ones. Like when you threw the random Suzus, there was like, why did he throw that?
yeah,
This one I could see why you threw it, and like sometimes shit like this was a high stress situation. You had a soldier
yeah.
flanking you, you were low health, like you had to kind of
Very yeah,
high stress situation. That was just not easy to figure out. As for how this sim is still here with your whole team behind her, I have no fucking
yeah.
clue. That is a whole nother mystery.
I was trying to go through the thing there to kill her because I got nobody else was
I
getting
mean,
her.
yeah,
I was just
that's a
gonna
fair
go.
play.
I was
Yeah,
like, I know
Kiriko
yeah.
can do that.
I said I know I can't go kill her through the window, so I can walk through it though. But, so,
Yeah. And that was not a I like that play. There was some good aggression. Definitely helps your team win the fight here. Now at this point you've capped point. You
yeah.
should probably just walk up with your team. There's no
Yeah,
real point to it.
I end up doing it, but then this happens. If you look over
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
right, that happens. So I was going.
Yep. Good Suzu, good teleport. I mean
Yeah,
that's why right. This is
yeah,
this is why a lot of people climb with Kiriko is because
yeah,
you get unpunished.
yeah,
You should have realistically once you cap point, you just walk with your team here.
yeah,
No real need to
yeah.
off angle.
Well,
Like this
yeah.
this is a choke. You can hold the choke with your team.
Well, I thought I was going
Uh
to be able to hit him from the other side.
yeah, yeah, kind of split it.
It kind of
That's
split
fair.
it,
And to be
but
fair, no one ever comes up this way.
right. And
Like
then when
this
I
is
got
a
around the
good
corner,
call.
I seen a blue
Yeah.
beam freaking soldier, and I was like, oh crap.
But yeah, being ready the way you were,
Yeah.
Suzu teleport, perfect reaction right
Yeah, because
there.
I was afraid he was going to shoot me with the Helix
Oh yeah,
rocket.
oh, that was a good call. That was a really good call.
Yeah. And our
Okay,
tank, I don't understand
yeah,
what the hell our tanks do. This is where I think our tank,
gave up.
I don't know, it was just so far deep. I mean, they get out, but they got so far
Yeah,
deep in there. It was
I
uncomfortable.
think
Yeah.
I think with this is a gold tank right here. I
Yeah.
think what happened in their head is they see, ooh, this is a big Junker Queen ult, and they just press the button, and then they were like, oh shit, I'm in their
Yeah.
spawn door.
But I
But
wasn't
I don't think that
teleporting
was a
back there. I
yeah, that
don't.
was good. That was good. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I don't really like that ult, to be honest with you. I don't like. Do you remember what you were thinking when you pressed
Uh,
Q over here?
well, I thought they were all in there, and I thought my team was in there as well. So I thought if we had
Okay.
that whole,
Yeah, so
area.
this is one of those situations where this is why I like having on, you can there's, like, a setting in sounds where you could have it where it makes a noise whenever an enemy or teammate
Mm-hmm.
does, because you would have known 2 enemies died, and
Yeah.
then maybe you would have even looked and seen Mercy Sim, that is big picks, like, this is basically a 1 game.
Yeah. So we didn't need to even do that at
You
that
didn't do
point.
anything here. Yeah. Especially right here, you before you even popped it, that was a 3rd pick, so now it's
Yeah, the
2
third pick,
people
so
that are
there's two
both
people
not
down.
supports,
Yeah.
and both supports are down importantly, because if supports are up, this
Yeah.
might even still be a good
Good
ult,
ult,
but
but at
supports
that
are
point,
down,
yeah.
your whole team's up, you're all together right here, your queen is, like, super hard on their tank, he's already half health, and then you popped ult, and it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, obviously gonna die here, but I don't really think it mattered that you popped ult, it was just kind of a
Yeah, it
waste.
was gonna die anyway. They were dead anyway, but
Yeah.
I agree.
Right, Kiriko ult especially is one of the biggest just in the game.
Oh, they're wanting to play the
Yeah, I know.
tugs.
Well, we got 2 minutes left of this. We'll finish the 2 minutes and
Yeah.
I'll hop in with them.
I should have waited on that, I think, but
Yeah.
that ult was. I thought I was dead. To be honest, I thought she was focusing me on that. And then I
Yeah,
died.
there's a lot over here. I
Yeah.
mean, first off, this is a pretty awkward place to be, but
Yeah.
so is where all your team is right now, so whatever.
We got a lot of lot of
Backing up there, honestly, I don't
uh,
even know if you had to teleport. I think you were fine
fine
standing
up
over
here. I
here.
think I was trying to
Uh,
get there to heal my tank to be in position. But
to
to your
hear,
point, I could have done it
yeah.
from right here and been good. But
I think
also,
maybe what you saw was this Hanzo that just died,
it
because
could
he was
be.
critical.
It could be, but I also think because if I would have stayed up there on the top, I don't know if the
Yeah.
Morio would have just focused that
Well,
beam on me.
but here's the thing: you always have your teleport, right? There was
True, true.
nothing stopping you. If you stood here and she did come for you, it's actually just a W because she wastes a whole nother second of cold chasing you
True.
here,
And she chases me, and then my
right?
tank stays
And
up
then you
there.
still
Yeah.
have the same teleport and cleanse, and you probably also would have regened a little
Good
while
point.
doing it.
Good
So it's
point.
all just net positives.
Yeah, very true.
And then here, I mean, yeah, your team's dead. It's one of those situations where you're not getting out of this. There's just no way.
Yeah,
Your goal here is to stall point. So whatever you have to do here, just stall point, right? Wall climb, nade yourself, whatever. You happen to die for it, whatever.
right.
Like
We're
that
gonna
that's
die
not bad. That's
anyway,
a
but
good reset. Yeah.
yeah, if I would have died anyway, I should have just died on point because at least it would have stalled it
Yeah.
for that much longer or whatever.
Yeah, but going in there in that back room for like 2 seconds to try and grasp the situation was fine.
Hmm.
And then noticing, oh, I have to go point and die here, and then doing that was also good. So like I'm saying that was good. That
Okay.
there wasn't anything wrong there.
Okay.
Like you could say, oh yeah, it would have been better if you died right away, but honestly, sometimes it's not. It's better a lot of time to give yourself a second to,
Okay.
especially because you were clearly shaken up in that back corner there, to give yourself a second to grasp what's going on and then make a better decision,
Better decision.
which is what you did, and that was good. Yeah, you kind of had to throw that there. You
Yeah,
kind of
they
forced
were
it.
low, and
Right here. I mean, I know your Moira was there. I would have maybe even continued healing the tank because they were still
okay.
critical. But then going on this blank, solid idea, solid execution too. Those some nice headshots you got in there.
Yeah, but they got this damn wind
Yeah,
wall,
at
and it's just
this point, you got up the sim wall. Half
yeah,
of your team, including your tank, seems to know you're over here,
yeah,
and like the soldier especially. I would just spam heals here. They're not going to go beyond that wall unless they're really
yeah.
stupid.
I think they're
But your
all
team
on the
will.
yeah. Our team is, but the tank see like they stayed on that side of the
Yeah,
wall, and I couldn't.
yeah.
I wasn't going
I,
over.
here, well, so here's the interesting thing. At
Yeah,
this point, it's 90%.
yeah,
And that changes things. Like normally I agree with you here,
yeah.
but at this point you need to actually kind of close in on point. And
Okay.
I don't know where the hell is your tank on your
It's
right now, I
Tinker's like
guess.
behind me. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll figure out what they have to do. But at this point, you kind of have to start approaching point because clearly the rest of your team isn't going to do it.
right,
So actually,
right.
teleporting and saving Moira here is probably actually the right play. When normally it's a bad idea,
Bad idea.
right here, especially with Ryan pinning you right now, that's an extra
Would
reason
have
to just
been the
teleport there.
smarter play because then I yeah.
Yeah,
Because really the
maybe even
only thing
teleport
that's
Hanzo
in
if you have
there,
to. But
I do teleport to Hanzo here, so
yeah,
and
yeah.
try to get him up, and then I think I try to go down here to get some picks.
Yeah, this wasn't good.
Yeah,
When you're
yeah.
low in time like this, you need to play more
Play
aggressive than
more
normal,
aggressive. Yeah, well, it's, yeah,
especially when you're down. I mean, you're probably gonna lose this anyway, but going like on these long flanks with two
yeah,
seconds left is definitely not helping your team. And then I don't know what's going on here.
yeah,
I think, yeah, realistically, what like, seeing that, I probably would've I see, "Oh, there are tanks going to me." I mean, all 4 of them might be there, but I'm Kiriko, I can teleport, I can cleanse, I can maybe even wall climb at the back if I have to or something, when Moira was still there. When Moira died, next best option was Hanzo, that was a, good second thing. Uh, and then from there, it was alright, but then you just went on this long flank. I think at that
yeah,
point, you had to kinda force him in, maybe even stand where Hanzo is and just
yeah,
spam with him. But I would've went main so that you're at 2 different angles, so Hanzo's up there, you're down here.
yeah. So
Just
that'd
a
have been
minor thing like
better. And
that.
then I could
And then
also throw in some
also because
heals.
you could see your tank,
Yeah,
it's
and then, yeah,
still
I was just saying I could have thrown some heals on the tank there.
yeah. But instead, you're on this long flank, I mean, your tank ends up with you somehow, and you still kinda were out of the way from them. You could've just
Yeah,
walked left here and healed
left.
them.
Yeah,
Uh, not bad to kill
this
the
is, and
trio,
then I
though.
end up dying here because of this. My tank ran out on
Yeah.
point, rightfully so. I'm not mad
Well
about that because we were
Well,
at.
so
But
I think here, everything up to, like, killing that Korean throwing the Suzu was
mhm.
good, but then when you were half health and you see a Moira approaching
I should
you,
have just got the hell
and
out of
and
there.
and you have teleport and you see both your t DPS, I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it's
I
free.
should.
You
Yeah, I
look
should. I
once
should
under
have
the
got out
right,
of
hit
there.
left shift.
Boom, get out of there. Yeah,
That's Kiriko's strength when you're out of position like this, instead of being completely fucked.
yeah.
The
Boom, I
first
should have been
headshot
out.
was fine. Here, at this
Yeah,
point, not
get
only
out.
you low, you're getting the prompt to teleport. The game is telling you, "Get
Yeah,
the fuck out of
get
here."
out of here.
And you stayed here, and that's why you
Yeah,
died.
I thought
I
I could
mean,
get the pick. I
to be
ecoed that
fair,
one. I ain't even gonna try to lie.
I think you could've. I think if you
Yeah,
quick melee'd after the shot,
yeah. I
you
probably
you would've
could
gotten
have,
the kill.
but it happens.
Yeah,
And I, like I
it
said,
does happen.
like I
It
said,
does happen,
I
that's
felt completely out of sorts and out of whack in that game. To be honest
yeah.
with you, and it's just uh, and
Well,
but
but overall though, I will say I was impressed with a lot of this. Like, there's a lot of what I expected to see was just, okay, he's hard heal botting, he's in a weird position. What I saw instead was, a lot of good choices on when to damage and heal, but also a lot of weird choices for positioning. And
right,
that's way easier to fix. That is a mental thing. That's not like it's like an easy mental thing because you already made that the biggest mental hurdle for beginner supports is like I do I damage or do I heal? And you've gone past that now. You have that mostly correct at this point.
yeah.
Next up is get those abilities down, get the positioning down.
Positioning and also get better at aiming further to the ground
Well,
on
yeah, yeah,
and
that
stuff.
that
But
as
it's just
well. That'll happen with
little
time.
mechanical stuff
Yeah,
that.
for
But
sure.
yeah, but I know what I'm doing. I know that I do that. It's not something that's like
Yeah,
I know I need to get better. But and plus I don't have much play. I don't play.
yeah, yeah,
I mean
yeah,
I play, but I don't play at the same.
yeah.
But I honestly think I'm, as far as my rank wise, I felt was as new as I was at the game. I felt I should be in like silver. I feel that's where I'm.
I
Yeah,
think honestly though,
yeah,
with the way you're thinking about the game already, I could see you easily. I mean, once you get these few things ironed out, once you play a bit safer, once you stop risking yourself for your team and instead play just a better position, you could easily just keep climbing. I could see you in diamond like next week if you just iron that shit out.
yeah, and then deal with the
But yeah.
stress. Yeah, all right.
Any kind of remaining questions or
No, I mean I think you
else?
covered and showed me some things that I wasn't thinking of as far as like just make sure that I'm jumping out, teleport out, not um, um, you know, being in the wrong, even, being in positioning as far as like, the other options of what I could have done, especially on BAP in some situations, like,
Yeah.
hey, just
Yeah,
jump
just
out of
just be
there and get,
be aware
yeah,
of what you have
yeah,
for this kind of thing. All right.
yeah.
Well,
All right, man,
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.